Hello, it's a Sensor Gambino here with a new video. In this video I will be going over the event week for this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. But yeah, starting off, this is the look of the main menu for the current event week. Features the Lamar contact missions, the LS car meet rep, which I assume those go right to those opportunities and whatnot, and then the free shades I imagine just puts you in like a public lobby and whatnot. Going into house specification service here, you have double car meet rep on it, and for the first time it's 150 car meet rep, and then thereafter it is 100. And the strategy for this, as far as I know, is the cheapest buyable vehicle I recall is the Karen Rebel. That is only $3,000. Buying that obviously would be pretty cheap, and plus, if you buy from a player, you can also get them free, performance upgrades and whatnot. So definitely very nice. Next, there is 20% off of Hal's Special Works racing suits. And quite frankly, it is actually one of the better, clothing discounts they could do, because, like with the other clothing you can buy in the car meet, you do actually get that little bit of LS car meet reputation. So definitely some of the better clothing that could be put on discount. And then Hal's premium test ride this time around is the Grotti Turismo Classic. And for some reason, the image shows the test rides, the regular test rides, but the Grotti Turismo Classic, that's basically the HSW vehicle that you end up using in that very first time trial to gain access to Hal's Special Works. And yeah, the Grotti Turismo Classic is the only HSW Sport Classic vehicle in the game. So it is definitely a very worthwhile pickup between a lot of different HAL Special Work vehicles in the game. On to 2x LS Car Meet reputation on all LS Car Meet races. It includes Street Race Series, Pursuit Series, and Sprints. And quite frankly, for the most part, even with these being on 2x, I do not really recommend these. I would much prefer the robbery contracts that you do in the auto shop, because those are also very good for money, whereas all of these ones, they're races, so you're not really going to get very good money from these. So it's definitely still better in my opinion due to robbery contracts. The only way I could really see these being worth it is if you are a GTA minus plus member, where you also get 2x through the membership and whatnot. And that does stack apparently with the opportunity, so if you are a GTA minus or a plus member, you do get 4x on the street races. That would be the only reason, in my opinion, that this opportunity here would be all that worth it. On 2x money and RP on survival series here, I do quite frankly think this is one of the couple better money making opportunities during this particular event week. It's definitely not the weakest one, I would say. And yeah, from what I've heard, the best map kind of to play on between the ones that are actually on 2x money and RP is actually the Quartz survival map or whatever. That's in the Quartz Center. And yeah, the description on this thing here is a little bit misleading. It says the survival series, which does suggest that all of the survivals are on a 2x money RP. Though when I went on the game, it was only for the recent I think it was all the latest maps from around the Cayo Perico Heist DLC. I think those were the only maps that were on the Double Money RP. So in my opinion, best map from what I've heard is the Quartz Survival. And that one I will leave a link in the description for some tips and stuff for the newest survivals that were added in the game. And yeah, there's the 10 wave option the usual survival, and then also the infinite waves and all that. On to 2x money and RP Lamar contact missions. Again, for some reason, this one is a little bit misleading. It does actually show an image of a lowrider mission. It does show Lamar next to a lowrider, but none of his lowrider missions are actually on the 2x money and RP. But again, they do call it by Lamar contact missions. So I think they did make it somewhat pretty obvious that was the original 2013 Lamar contact missions. And yeah, that little 5-second gameplay clip that showed before this mission gameplay here, that's showing the best way to go about the Lamar contact missions. missions in terms of like making money. Because what you can do is you can make like a whole entire like mission playlist in game with all of the like 2013 Lamar missions. You have to actually play the missions. It's not like a lot of the like different stuff where you can already like go on like the playlist page and add it. You have to actually play the missions if you want to add them like in game. Because yeah, you can't actually like replay contact missions as far as I remember on like the job screen or whatever. Because I think Rockstar nerfed that like multiple years back. But you can still replay them like right away as long as you have it through like a playlist. So that is definitely the best way to go about the Lamar contact missions, but in my opinion it's the worst of the money opportunities. Plus Lamar only has like 6 to like 7 missions I think that are like permanently playable, not counting the lowrider missions, and obviously it's not including the short trips. It's only the like 2013 Lamar contact missions, which are definitely some of the worst, if not like the worst contact missions in the game in terms of like payout and whatnot. And if you're going to play a lot of them, definitely get used to like moving a lot of like trailers and like gas tankers and stuff like that. Definitely prepare to do a lot of that if you're playing a lot of that. But yeah, a couple of my better missions I would say for the Lamar like contact missions would be no smoking, which is in the gameplay here, and I recall like San Andreas Seal being a pretty good one as well. On to 2 times money and RP on special cargo and bunker cell missions. I will start with special cargo, and quite frankly it is one of the like most risk reward businesses in the entire game, because not only do you have to worry about your product possibly getting destroyed by a toxic player in like a lobby or something, but yeah, every single like thing you source you do have to pay like $18,000 per like free crates, which I believe is the maximum that you can obtain at like one time. So not only is the sell missions risk reward, but also like the sourcing missions, because you are paying for the crates. But if you are able to sell like huge shipments and have like full warehouses that you can easily like sell and whatnot, then obviously it will be a very great event. And then especially bunkers, definitely the better of these like 2 businesses are on like double money RP right now. So I feel the bunker in a sense is kind of the best of the money opportunities for the entire event week. And going back to special cargo a little bit, I believe most of my ranks personally has been from like special cargo. So if you do like a lot of like 1 crate like sell missions, that's a very great way to obtain RP. But quite frankly, after rank 120, there's not really that much incentive to get RP anyways. But yeah, the bunker, that's passive and active, whereas the special cargo is an active business. So for special cargo, you do have to stop like everything you're doing basically. Bunker though, you can either like source the supplies, which I do not recommend, or you can buy the supplies. Quite frankly, I would rather buy the supplies for $75,000. That way you can actually make that $75,000 back by doing other opportunities in the game, whether it's during the event week or if you're just going to do more like Hio Perico heist or something. But yeah, personally I'm a solo player, so personally I just buy 1 thing of supplies, and selling Los Santos will get you $420,000 for buying 1 full thing of supplies, and the whole entire thing of supplies being turned into stock and whatnot. Buying just 1 thing of supplies guarantees you 1 like delivery vehicle for the most part, which means it's a very solo friendly like sell mission. But if you buy anything more than like 1 supplies, then expect it to not be such a like solo friendly sale. And then at that point you're kind of going to want like a friend or something to help sell with, I would say. For logging in, you can receive the all-white square shades. Now, quite frankly, I did actually obtain that, like, clothing items, so either it's, like, completely new, or if they did give it out previously, it probably had to be, like, earned through, like, a money opportunity or something, and therefore I didn't really go for it, but yeah. Seems like it might be a newer, like, login reward that hasn't necessarily been given out in the past. And then onto the prize ride here, it is actually the Grotti Itali GTO. Very nostalgic vehicle from the very first Grand Theft Auto game, actually, which is pretty cool. And not only that, it's actually a very good performing like sport car in the game. And the prize ride challenge actually does not appear to be that bad. It is actually a top 3 in 5 LS car meet races. And those, going off of earlier, do include the street races, which is a minimum of 2 players. So if you are doing like minimal, like 2 players for like a street race, even like 3 players, I believe no matter where you place, you're basically guaranteed to get like a entry into the like challenge. And then obviously you only have to do that like 5 times. So doing basically 5 street races with very minimal players seems to be the way to go. And quite frankly, it is a very worthwhile one to go for. Because again, very nostalgic vehicle, and it's very good sport car performance actually. Onto the test ride vehicles for the event. There is the Class A Stallion, a very nostalgic vehicle from, again, the very first Grand Theft Auto game. P-Fister Growler, which that one's actually a 30% off discount. It's the only test ride that's actually on a discount for the event. And then the Bravado Buffalo S, which as you can see on that image is white to represent Franklin's. Pretty cool how they did that one there, but yeah. The Stallion and the Buffalo S, in terms of a performance standpoint, those aren't really going to be that good. And yet the Growler also doesn't necessarily have that good performance, but it is a tuner vehicle, which means it can be used in the street races, pursuit races, and also like the robbery contracts. And yeah, for street pursuit races, I imagine it's a very average vehicle there. It's definitely one of the better like sport vehicles in the game between like the 12 like tuner sport vehicles. So at least the Growler can be somewhat of an alright pickup, I would say, but in terms of a performance standpoint for the other two, definitely not. And yeah, for performance, I will be leaving a link in the description of like a spreadsheet that lists like all the different like performances of like the different vehicles in Grand Theft Auto 5 and online. Onto the Podium Vehicle this time around. It is the Nissa Vestra back from like the Doomsday Heist update from like late 2017. And it is actually one of the like few vehicles from like the Doomsday Heist DLC that actually has the like option to have machine guns, at least for like a more like traditional like civilian vehicle. But it may not look the part, but you can actually put machine guns on it, and yeah, the performance isn't necessarily the greatest on it, so in my opinion, the only reason to really own it is to like collect like all the different like weaponizable vehicles in the game. And because it only has access to like typical like machine guns in the game, that does mean it's not necessarily still going to be the greatest for like money making. Like yeah, sure, it could probably do good in like the headhunter, like VIP work and stuff like that. Besides for light stuff like that, it's probably not going to be all that good for making money per se. Onto the remaining discounts, one that's actually not mentioned on like the what's like new section is actually the Impaler. And that one is actually a okay muscle car, and it's also again one of those like very like retro nostalgic vehicles from like the very original Grand Theft Auto, which is pretty interesting. Not only is the stock vehicle a like okay muscle car, but it's also able to be turned into like a weaponized like conversion in the arena, which is pretty interesting. So there's that. But keep in mind, you're only getting a discount on like the regular vehicle. You're not getting any sort of like discount on like the weaponized like conversions, unfortunately. But it is a very interesting vehicle on discount. And high-end apartments, 30% off. Obviously, get as many as you can with that discount because you can own up to 8, and that's a pretty good amount of vehicle storage that can be unlocked. And also, of course, those give you the exclusive 2015 heists that no other property allows you to do, basically. And then for some of the more simple discounts, there's carbine and assault rifles on 50% off, as well as their customizations. Obviously, at least the actual guns are definitely worth it, but the customization options, considering that you can upgrade them over to like Mark II variants, it sounds like you're only getting Mark I customizations 50% off. I probably would not recommend customizations. And Dominator GTT, that is also an okay muscle car. It's not like top tier, but still pretty okay within like top 10 like territory, whatever. Warner HKR, besides for the unique like sedan classing for like the tuner vehicle there, because it's 1 to like 2 sedan tuners, considering like between 17 tuner vehicles, 12 of them are like sport cars. Besides for unique classing, I wouldn't really recommend the HKR. DNS Remus, I don't really recall much of anything good with that one, so I wouldn't really recommend that. And then the Jester RR, it is okay in terms of like general performance, especially for top speed. But it can definitely be kind of useful for the street and like pursuit races for the Jester RR. Whereas something like the Dominator GTT, for example, since that's also a tuner, might be better off for like the robbery contracts, since I believe you can put like the rear like louvers on the Dominator GTT. So it's one of the better vehicles for the robbery contracts at least, because you won't be shot out as easily as long as you have like the louvers. But yeah, I think that's basically all the like discount advice that I have for this event week. Finally, onto the premium race and then the time trials. And yeah, quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of the like premium races and whatnot, so I don't have gameplay of that one, but yeah. Premium race apparently for the event week is boots on the ground for like motorcycles and whatnot. Obviously, as I've shown off with the regular time trial gameplay that's already been in this video. HSW Hawktail Drag, very good. It's like the second top speed motorcycle. I think the Reaver's actually still the #1 top speed motorcycle. So vehicles like the Reaver, kind of even like the Body 801, maybe even like the regular Hawktail Drag, and like the Jotaro and stuff like that could probably be some pretty good options for that regular time trial. Then you have regular time trial, that is Cypress Flats, going from Cypress Flats to like Ron Alternate Wind Farm. Only a very huge strategy I have for that one would be to like cut through like the dirt at like the Ron Alternate Wind Farm. Besides for that, it's pretty self-explanatory with the GPS into account and whatnot. But yeah, those vehicles, I mentioned stuff, that should take care of the premium race. And the regular time trial, RC Bandito time trial, quite frankly, RC Bandito time trials are like the hardest ones to like describe in terms of like strategy and stuff like that, since obviously you're only limited to like the one vehicle and whatnot. So I would just watch closely on the like gameplay or go to like someone else's like guide for it or something. And then HSW time trials, those are practically the easiest time trials. And yeah, that one on the gameplay right now, the HSW time trial is Sandy Shore, where you basically go there to like a Porta or something. You're kind of going to like the scrapyard or whatever from like that one like story mode mission in the game. And yeah, the Hawktail Drag, like with the previous couple time trials, makes very good work of the HSW time trial. It's the only motorcycle with the HSW conversion, so I would say definitely the Hawktail Drag. Or if you're not going to use that, probably for sure one of the like supercars. But yeah, I think pretty much for the most part, that is actually going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed.